Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their new Star Wars TV shows and their new Star Wars movies, and a whole lot more on the horizon with the books, the novels, the comics, and the video games, etc. But we also have Favreau and Filoni just building this universe from the ground up to really give fans a very brand new take on the Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe that a lot of fans have been very much, involved with when it comes to looking up to Favreau and Filoni and what Lucas is doing with them and helping both Jon and Dave out, there's a lot of things on the horizon, and Star Wars Celebration of next year is going to be a very big deal for a lot of Star Wars fans around the world, not just because of all the major announcements, but also because of what they are doing to phase out Kathleen Kennedy's vision of Star Wars, essentially. Given that Jon and Dave now got big promotions thanks to the Disney executives, they are able to do pretty much whatever they want to do. Now, moving forward to the next thing here, a lot of fans have always been, really kind of trying to figure out who is Grogu? Where does he come from? What's the official species name of Yoda, Grogu, and Yaddle? There's a lot of things coming for Mandalorian Season 4 and other Star Wars TV shows out there as well. Now, Favreau and Filoni actually recently were able to tease more about Grogu's true identity and how massive it's really going to be and what they're planning to do with the Star Wars universe at hand. So that brings us to the next scenario here of what's really going on. Now, with many new Star Wars shows in the works, creators Jon and Dave Filoni are beginning to get closer to ending the Ahsoka Tano series for Disney+. Now, it's noted that currently one of the big developments that Favreau and Filoni are working on is the true identity of Grogu in the upcoming new Star Wars shows and Mandalorian 4. Now, it's described that in a recent interview with Favreau and Filoni, they informed the fans that what they and Lucasfilm are working on with Grogu's true identity is going to shock the internet. Favreau began to state the following: "We firmly believe that what we are working on with Grogu's big revelation and others over at Lucasfilm, that it will shock and break the internet without question. It's never our intention just to create something just for the sake of surprising fans. But we came across this big idea on accident for Grogu's backstory, including his true species name, his real name, who he really is, and where he comes from, that will all be addressed and revealed in the upcoming 4th season that we are slowly building up right now. I can say right now without any ego that this is one of the first and biggest and finest revelations in the Star Wars franchise that will be talked about for decades." Now, I want to stop right here quick for a second of what Favreau says. That one piece that he says right there really caught my interest. The fact that he says, without any ego, he believes, and pretty much firmly knows, that it's going to be one of the biggest revelations in Star Wars history that's really going to be talked about for decades. That's a very powerful thing to say, that without any ego, this is going to be the biggest revelation that's going to be discussed by fans for years upon years. Now, obviously, we've heard this all before with The Last Jedi, we've heard this before with The Rise of Skywalker, I get it, but even Favreau makes it very straightforward and clear that he never over-exaggerates, he doesn't want to over-exaggerate, and he never wants to overhype anything. But this is the one scenario where he firmly believes that this is going to be a very big deal for Star Wars and the community. Now, there's a lot of questions. How in the world are they going to top the "I am your father" moment? And he addresses this in just a couple of seconds, by the way. We'll talk about that. The thing about them topping the "I am your father" moment is that it has to be something truly, number one, unexpected. Number two, it has to feel authentic. And number three, it really has to change some of the core elements of Star Wars and its surrounding characters, which, by the way, Favreau teased us a couple of weeks ago that Grogu's true identity and his backstory and just everything related to Grogu is going to have a massive impact on all the Skywalker Saga movies. That's basically one of the biggest hints that he actually threw us, like a curveball, right? And we're left to actually guess as to exactly what's going on. So he goes on to say the following. And I mean it when I say that. I never like to over-exaggerate with the fans, and I can assure that we are creating something truly special for the fans. This is something that we have George involved with as well, and he gave us 100% approval and love for what we are doing with Grogu. And even he believes that this has the potential to outperform the impact of the I Am Your Father moment in Empire Strikes Back for Star Wars fans. It's really going to be one of the best moments in Star Wars history for the fans to experience. We will slowly be teasing what this all means in Mando Season 3, which comes out next year. So Favreau is making it very clear that it's not just him saying this, but a lot of creators over at Lucasfilm are saying the same exact thing, that this major revelation is going to be just that, a major revelation. Now, obviously, when we look at Grogu right now, there's a lot of mystery behind the character. We don't really know too much about him, other than the fact that there's a lot of stories to tell of what happened during Order 66, what Ahsoka Tano teased of how his mind goes dark at a certain point in time. There's a lot in there that we don't really know about, and they're trying their hardest to keep it under wraps, and they're doing a great job because nobody's really heard of anything, alright? Behind the scenes, they're keeping it dwindled down to just a short number of people about what this true identity of Grogu really is going to be. Again, they're trying to keep it tightly sealed so much because it's going to be that massive of a revelation. Now, when you look back at the Skywalker saga as a whole, when you just look at it generally speaking, it's not that the Star Wars universe was always about revelations or twists and turns. It was never truly about that. The whole Empire thing was really a thing on accident. You know, that was kind of like something that George wanted to do on the whim with Empire Strikes Back when he was writing the story. He figured, let's create a twist. The sequels tried to recreate those twists and turns with The Last Jedi. It just did not work at all. And they tried to further do that with making Rey a Palpatine, essentially. But it just felt very flat. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but they really overdid it with the dialogue in Episode 9. It was very, like, too stagnant, where Luke says, you know, because you're a Palpatine. Even Kylo says, you're a Palpatine. The dialogue just felt very out of place, very straightforward, and as if they were trying to make it too obvious. They could have made something sound better, like you're a descendant of the Palpatines, or something that sounds a little bit smarter, but I digress. This whole scenario is a very interesting one by Favreau and Filoni. I cannot wait to see what they do, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think is going on with Grogu that's going to shock the internet and break it so much? Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear